SLT Mobitel, the connection.
නිවසේ මෙවැනි මතුපිට රැඳෙන විස බීජ 99.9%ක්ම විනාශ කරන විම් ක්ලීනර්ස්.
Tonight, getting ready. With cases expected to rise past the 2,000 mark, all hospitals have been instructed to set aside COVID-19 treatment wards. Paramount protection. As the COVID-19 risk to expectant mothers heightens, gynecologist says vaccinations are okay.
The most protective effect is, as doctors, we can recommend the vaccination.
Assured supplies. Sputnik 5 vaccinations get underway as its Russian manufacturer guarantees delivery of 13.5 million doses. Clamping down. The Excise Department issues fresh health guidelines for bars, restaurants and liquor retailers. All this and much more coming up on this Thursday, the 6th of May 2021.
ඇල්කොහොල් අඩංගු hand sanitizer භාවිත කරන්න. ලෙඩ රෝග ඇති කරන විෂ බීජවලට එරෙහිව සටන් කරන්න. හඳුන්වා දීමේ මිල රුපියල් 350යි.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I am Shanella Fernando in your top stories for tonight. Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Sudat Samaravira revealed today that all government hospitals have been instructed to set aside wards to treat COVID-19 patients, given the uptick in daily cases being experienced across the country. Dr. Samaravira warned that the daily caseload could spike past the 2,000 mark, but could be controlled through a combination of early detection, isolation and treatment, and the efforts of the public.
COVID-19 infections detected in the country for the past 3 days have been recorded above 1,900, with 1,939 reported yesterday. Following the massive surge of infections, health experts warn that these numbers could rise even higher. Speaking at a media briefing this afternoon, Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Sudat Samaravira says he wouldn't be surprised if it crosses the 2,000 mark very soon.
සමහර විට මේක තවත් ඉදිරියේදී මීට වඩා වැඩි වීමේ හැකියාවකුත් තියෙනවා. සමහර විට 2000 ඉක්මවා යෑමටත් හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා. මේ தත්ත්වය කොයි ආකාරයකට පරිවර්තනය වෙනවද කියන එක ඉදිරි දවස් කිහිපය තුළදී අපිට දැනගන්න පුළුවන් වේවි. ඒක තීරණය වෙන්න කාරණා දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි මේ සෞඛ්‍ය අංශ විසින් කොයිතරම් ඉක්මනට මේ රෝගීන් හඳුනාගෙන ඒ රෝගීන්ව රෝහල් වලට ඇතුල් කර නැත්නම් අතරමැදි ප්‍රතිකාර මධ්‍යස්ථාන වලට ඇතුල් කර ඕන්න අනිත් අයගෙන් වෙන් කර තබා ගන්නවාද කියන එක ඒ වගේම ආශ්‍රිතින් කොයිතරම් වේගෙන් හඳුනාගෙන ඔවුන්ව නිරෝධායනය කර ඔවුන් අතර රෝගීන් හඳුනා ගන්නවාද කියන එක මත එක පැත්තකින් තීරණය වෙනවා. අනිත් පැත්තෙන් මේ රෝගය පැතිරීම වැළැක්වීම සඳහා ජනතාවගෙන් දෙන දායකත්වය කොයිතරම් දුරට වෙනවද කියන එක මත තීරණය වෙනවා.
Meanwhile, Dr. Samaravira also added that all government hospitals have been instructed to allocate a number of wards to deal with the increasing number of COVID-19 patients.
රජයේ තියෙන ප්‍රධාන සෑම රෝහලකටම අපි දැනුම් දීලා තියෙනවා තමුන්ගේ රෝහලේ COVID-19 ප්‍රතිකාර සඳහා වාට්ටු කිහිපයක් වෙන් කරන්න කියලා. මීට කලින් එහෙම තිබුණේ නැහැ. අපි මීට කලින් කලේ ඒ වගේ රෝහල් වල රෝගීන් හඳුනාගත්තාම COVID-19 ආසාදිත රෝහලකට ඒ විශේෂිත රෝහලකට අපි ඕන්න මාරු කර යමු. නමුත් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී රෝගීන් විශාල වශයෙන් වාර්තා වෙන නිසා ඕන්න වහම කළමනාකරණය කරන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙන නිසා අපි ඒ රෝහල් හැම එකකටම දැනුම් දීලා තියෙනවා මේ අවස්ථාවේදී COVID-19 රෝගී ආසාදිතෙක් આવොත් ඔවුන් ප්‍රතිකාර කිරීමට අවශ්‍ය වාතාවරණය සකස් කරන්න කියලා.
Meanwhile, out of the 1,939 infections detected yesterday, 42 patients were reported to be foreign arrivals, while the remaining 1,897 cases were detected across 24 districts. The Colombo district reported the highest, with 498 cases, while Gampar reported the second highest, with 387. In addition, 377 infections were detected in Kalutara, 83 in Matale, 78 in Polonnaruwa, 58 in Kandy, 50 in Mathura, and 46 in Gaul. Further, health authorities also detected 44 cases in Ratnapura, 41 in Kurunegala, 38 in Anuradhapura, and 37 in Jaffna. The remaining 12 districts contributed 160 infections. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Army has taken steps to establish a COVID-19 treatment centre in the Sidhu area. Comprising of 1,200 beds, the treatment centre is expected to be ready to provide the treatment facilities for COVID-19 patients within the next few days. This centre is tipped to be the largest COVID-19 treatment centre in the country. In addition, Madagama and Buttala district hospitals, along with the National Youth Corps Training Centre in Vallavaya, have also been set up to function as COVID-19 treatment centres. Meanwhile, with 810 more COVID-19 patients discharged from hospitals after recovering during the day, the total number of recoveries since the first wave increased to 100,885. In the meantime, the total number of active cases in the country currently stand at 17,761, following the confirmation of 1,851 more cases today. In other news, a few more areas were placed in isolation this morning to contain the spread of COVID-19. Accordingly, the Panam Gammana Grama Nildara division in the Kothmale police area of the Nuwara district was isolated at 6:25 am today. Meanwhile, Subhadra Lankara Mawatha in Trincomalee police area were also isolated this morning. In the meantime, police quarantine operations are underway across the island to apprehend suspects violating the law in public. In an operation conducted yesterday, a total of 238 people found not wearing face masks, as well as those not maintaining social distancing, were arrested by the police. Meanwhile, the drone regiment of Sri Lanka Army deployed drones in the Bingiri area to identify quarantine law violators. What's more, the police are also conducting inspections of institutions to check on whether quarantine laws are being adhered to when dealing with customers.
Yesterday, a special operation has been conducted in Western Province from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for a period of 3 hours. Total number of 2,103 places have been inspected by police officers along with health authorities. 188 gymnasiums, 371 saloons, 182 beauty parlors, 300 garages, 185 service centers, 74 laundries, 141 tailor shops and 201 photocopy centers have been inspected by the police officers, and 3,473 persons have been checked in respect of quarantine rules and regulations. 7 persons have been arrested in respect of the offences of face mask and social distancing from such places. The operation is continued today. Therefore, all the managers, supervisors or the owners of such institutions are kindly requested to adhere with quarantine rules and regulations. When they deal with their customers all the time, they should follow quarantine rules and regulations. Otherwise, they could be dealt with the quarantine law.
Won't you follow me into the jungle?
Medical experts today revealed that an increasing number of expectant mothers are being infected with the new variant of the coronavirus. They also cautioned that expectant mothers in their 28th week of pregnancy remain at a higher risk from the new variant. Speaking to First at 9 on the issue, consultant, obstetrician and gynecologist at the Castle Street Hospital for Women, Dr. Sanath Lanarol stated that vaccination remains the most effective method of protection for pregnant women.
According to specialists, expectant mothers who are overweight or have pre-existing conditions such as hypertension and diabetes remain at a heightened danger from COVID-19. When expectant mothers are infected, more often than not, the need for ICU treatment remains higher than any other patient due to the need to protect not only the mother but her unborn child as well. Due to changes in their bodies and immune systems, we know that pregnant women remain at a severe risk if they develop respiratory infections. Therefore, the importance of taking added precautions to protect themselves against COVID-19 and report possible symptoms to their healthcare provider remains of paramount importance. Reports say that nearly 400 expectant mothers have been infected during the current third wave in the country. Medical experts point out that expectant mothers who are exposed to the virus after 28 weeks of pregnancy remain at a very high risk.
The new COVID-19 variant is more virulent than its original one. The original one is less harmful to the pregnant mothers. So we didn't see much cases those days for the pregnant mothers, and even though pregnant mothers got the disease, it was not that severe enough to cause ICU admissions or any kind of pneumonia conditions. This new COVID-19 variant affected about 40 to 50% of pregnant population. So things are alarmingly increasing. Young mothers less than 35 years of age, they are considered low risk mothers. The high risk mothers are more than 28 weeks and older than 35 years, and their BMI is high, and mothers who had diseases like hypertension, asthma, diabetes and the cardiac disease, and immunocompromised mothers. If they get the new variant, it is going to be a severe one.
Dr. Lana Roll also highlighted key advice for expectant mothers in the current situation.
Generally, we advise to drink a lot of water, and please take foods rich in vitamin C, these oranges, lemons and that kind of thing. Dairy products are advised. Then seafood, which is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and beet grains, green leafy vegetables are advised. It is recommended to take vitamin D daily, and all these have a protective effect against this deadly virus.
Dr. Lana Roll also suggests that the COVID-19 vaccine remains the best option as a protective measure for expectant mothers against the current more virulent strain.
The most protective effect is the vaccination. It is recommended by the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists in Sri Lanka also. As doctors, we can recommend. Earlier, we didn't recommend it because the benefits are less than the complications. With the older COVID-19 variant, press release issued by the Joint Committee in Vaccination in UK clearly indicated that taking the vaccine against the new variant has more benefits than the complications. It is advisable to take this vaccine by the pregnant mothers. It should be done by their choice.
Health authorities began administering the first dose of the Sputnik 5 vaccine today to residents of Gothatua due to high cases being reported in the Colombo suburb. Speaking on the subject, State Minister of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals, Professor Channajaya Sumana stated that the Sputnik 5 vaccine is one of the most effective against COVID-19 and that the second doses will be administered after just 3 weeks. The minister also revealed that Sputnik 5 manufacturer Gamaleya has assured the Sri Lankan government the delivery of the required 13.5 million doses.
Currently, vaccinating a country's populace is considered the only effective way to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Some of the worst affected countries, such as the United States, which has vaccinated nearly 32.1% of its population, has accordingly reported a 14% drop in infections this week compared to the week before. Similarly, the United Kingdom too has seen a reduction in 12% of overall infections reported this week as well. Around 23.4% of the UK's population has been fully vaccinated so far. However, currently the British-administered island of Gibraltar has the highest vaccinated population in the world, with the figure placed at 99.8%. Similarly, Sri Lanka is going full steam ahead with its inoculation program despite initial hiccups due to supply shortages, with a total of 159,986 persons having received both doses of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine so far. In addition to this, health authorities also began administering the Sputnik 5 vaccine today in the area of Gothatua, an area that reported the highest infections yesterday in the Colombo district. Sri Lanka received its first consignment of 15,000 Sputnik 5 vaccine doses on Tuesday.
රුසියානු රජය සහ නිෂ්පාදන ගැමීලියා ආයතනය මේ වෙනකොටත් අපට සහතික කරලා තියෙනවා මේ වසර තුල එන්නත් මාත්‍රා ලක්ෂ 130ක් අපිට ලබා දෙනවා කියලා. ඒත් මේ එන්නත මාත්‍රා දෙකක් හැටියටයි ලබා දෙන්න ඕන. එම ලක්ෂ 130 දෙකට බෙදුවම අපිට ලංකාවේ ජනගහනයේ ලක්ෂ 65කට ලබා දීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා ස්පුට්නික් එන්නත පමණක්. එතකොට අපේ රටේ සමස්ත එන්නත් කරන ව්‍යාපාරයට ලක්විය යුතු ජනගහනය ලක්ෂ 135ක්. කොරෝනා රෝගයට පැතිරීම වැළැක්වීම සඳහා දැනට තියෙන එන්නත් බැලුවට පස්සේ ලෝකේ තියෙන ඊටාම ආරක්ෂාකාරීම එන්නතක් හැටියට රුසියානු ස්පුට්නික් එන්නත සැලකෙනවා. මේක මාත්‍රා දෙකක්. මේ මාත්‍රා දෙකට ලබා දෙන එන්නත් දෙක වර්ග දෙකක්. ස්පුට්නික් එන්නතේම ආකාර දෙකක් හැටියට තමයි නිෂ්පාදනය කරලා තියෙන්නේ. සති 3ක පරතරයකින් යුතුව තමයි මේ එන්නත් මාත්‍රා දෙක ලබා දෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අද එන්නතේ පළවෙනි මාත්‍රාව ලබා දෙන අයට තව සති 3කින් දෙවෙනි මාත්‍රාව ලබා දෙන්න අපි සූදානම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Airport and Aviation Services Director Shehan Sumanasekaran announced a host of new plans currently in the works for the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport. He stated that measures will be taken to look into developing the cargo sector of the airport by creating a one-stop shop for clients to meet various agencies under one roof, while also incorporating maintenance, repair and operations as well.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the country, one of the country's main revenue-generating industry, the tourist industry, has suffered dearly. However, under the travel bubble concept, the industry's inability to bring in tourists to the country saw some respite. Similar to the Bandaranaike International Airport, the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport was also fully functional to cater to the influx. The airport received 229 aircraft movements from January until April this year, and also received 18,825 tourists during the same period. As such, speaking to First at 9, Airport and Aviation Services Director Shehan Sumanasekaran highlighted some of the plans in place for the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport.
Ever since the current government came back into power, we have activated the airport and the airport operations are going ahead as normal. We also have got about 100,000 kilograms worth of cargo movements, but we are definitely developing that sector with a one-stop cargo shop where we have all the agencies in one building, basically giving the ease for the clients for them to transfer their cargoes through their freighters. So we are looking at a lot of benefits for the clients. We have given a lot of waivers for airlines currently for them to start enjoying the perks at Mattala, and we are very specific about developing the airport from where we are now. We will be bringing in an MRO facility which will cater to all the regional airlines in the region. We will be inking up agreements with them for repair, maintenance and engine overhauls, etc. That is a very critical aspect that we are really looking at right now. We have spoken to a couple of airlines as well and investors, and they're very keen on coming in. When it comes to cargo, we have got one of the top freighters involved. They have already shown keen interest, and we are inking up agreements with them as well for a cargo warehouse at Mattala currently. That will boost the cargo aspect when it comes to perishable goods and the general cargo as well, which will be facilitated via Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport. Thirdly, we would also be installing a transit hotel for air passengers plus the crews who will be coming in to stay. We will be having an hotel connected to our terminal, and that is being planned as well, and that should be coming up very soon.
All arrivals from India have been halted with immediate effect, Civil Aviation Authority Chairman Upul Dharmadasa has announced today. The decision has been taken on the directives of the Ministry of Health due to the serious COVID-19 situation that India is experiencing. India is currently afflicted by a surging second wave that has overwhelmed the country's healthcare system due to skyrocketing positive daily cases and deaths. India has been recording more than 300,000 new daily infections since the 21st of April, after registering more than 412,000 fresh cases and 3,980 new deaths within the past 24 hours. India's coronavirus caseload now stands over 20 million, while its death toll has topped 220,000. The Excise Department issued fresh health guidelines to all excise licensees in response to rising COVID-19 numbers. The department has called for the closure of several license types, including bars, clubs and restaurants as well.
The Excise Department has issued a revised set of guidelines for all excise licensees in the country, including bars, pubs and restaurants, in line with the guidelines issued by the Director General of Health Services. According to the new guidelines, holders of FL4 retail licenses, better known as wine stores, are only permitted to operate during their stipulated times. Further, foreign liquor and toddy taverns coming under the FL5 license have been asked to close down until further notice. Meanwhile, FL7 hotel license holders have been permitted to serve in-house guests only, but only until 10 p.m. In addition, FL8 hotel bar license holders too have been asked to close up shop until further notice. This also applies to cinema bars operating under the FL9 entertainment bar license and holders of the FL11 restaurant licenses as well. Further, bars in rest houses operating under the FL12 license will be permitted to operate until 10 p.m. only. However, nightclubs holding the FL13A club license have also been instructed to close down until further notice. Holders of the FL22A, beer, ale, stout and wine license for retail sale are also permitted to operate only during stipulated times. Finally, FL22B license holders that permit the sale and consumption of beer, ale, stout and wine on premises have been instructed to close down until further notice as well.
Following the decision to postpone the Parliament debate on the Port City Economic Commission Bill on Tuesday, Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena has received the Supreme Court's determination on the petitions filed challenging the bill. With that, a decision is set to be taken at the Committee on Parliamentary Business on the new date for the debate, with the determination set to be presented in Parliament on the 18th of this month.
The Supreme Court's determination on the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Bill will be presented in Parliament on the 18th of May, the Parliament's Department of Communications announced today. Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena received the Supreme Court's determination on the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Bill today. Accordingly, the decision regarding the debate on the bill will be taken up at the forthcoming meeting of the Committee on Parliamentary Business. On Tuesday, the committee, chaired by the Speaker, decided not to proceed with the parliamentary debate on the Port City Bill that was scheduled for yesterday due to not having received the Supreme Court determination. On the 23rd of April, the Supreme Court concluded its consideration of several petitions challenging the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Bill. The petitions were taken up before a 5-member bench consisting of Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya and Supreme Court judges Bhuvaneka Aluvihare, Priyantha Jayawardena, Murudhu Fernando and Janak De Silva.
The Department of Meteorology expects heavy rainfall over several provinces, including the Western Province tonight and tomorrow. Though landslide warnings are not yet issued in line with the heavy rain expectations, the Disaster Management Centre has requested the public in the Hill Country to be vigilant for any pre-landslide signs and to take precautionary measures to evacuate themselves to safe zones if so.
Releasing the weather forecast for tomorrow, the Department of Meteorology says that showers and thunder showers can be expected in several areas across the island tonight. The department warned of showers over the eastern province and in the districts of Mullaitivu and Hambantota tomorrow morning. What's more, heavy rainfall above 100 millimeters can be expected over several areas in the Sabargamua, central, western, Uva, northwestern and southern provinces. With heavy rainfall expected in hilly areas, the Disaster Management Centre has also warned residents in such areas to remain watchful of any pre-landslide signs and to be prepared to evacuate into a safe zone if so.
People living in hilly areas, sometimes these areas might be a bit risky. People living in these areas has to pay a lot of attention over the possibility of signs of the landslides. If any signs being observed, that need to take immediate actions as well. 117 call center is completely open within 24/7 basis in 3 languages, and we are dealing with all the 25 district disaster management units and military and the police being informed with all the informations, and the teams are still standby with equipments in many areas to face any kind of disaster situation in Sri Lanka. So at the moment, the situation, there are no any situations been recorded so far, but we are expecting more rain tonight as well, and all the technical agencies been linked with us, and we are continuously monitoring the situation around the country, especially for the landslide situations.
Welcome back in your business news. The Colombo Stock Exchange has recorded a significant 29.43% total market turnover growth in the month of April, with local investors dominating with a 64% increase in participation as well. The average number of trades during the month closed at 22,037, while market capitalization stood at 3.2 trillion rupees.
The Colombo Stock Exchange has displayed significant growth in total market turnover of 29.43% in the month of April compared to March. Market turnover in April was recorded at 53 billion rupees, while domestic turnover has seen 64% growth that indicates sustained interest among local investors. April also showed growth in the benchmark all-share price index, having closed at 7,208.20 points, while the S&P SL20 index closed the month at 2,869.25 points. Meanwhile, average number of trades during the month closed at 22,037, while market capitalization stood at 3.2 trillion rupees. In addition, the primary market too has seen growth in capital raising, following the Ceylon Electricity Board debt issuance and the initial public offering by Criswell Limited on the Empower Board. Both issuances were oversubscribed on the first day and raised 20 billion rupees and 56.25 million rupees respectively. Meanwhile, Windforce Limited was listed at the CSE in April as well, and the company attracted a total foreign investment of 531 million rupees on the very first day of trading. Further, year-to-date foreign purchases of equity stands at 17.1 billion rupees at the end of April 2021.
The all-share price index surged to 7,188.9 points with a gain of 42.12 points rather, while the S&P SL 20 index of more liquid stocks gained by 6.29 points to end at 2,838.96. The market turnover was 1.2 billion rupees. Here's a brief report by Demantha Matthew on the market performance today.
We are now starting to see a bit of stability in the market taking place. Today the market ended in the green for the second consecutive day, up by around 42 points, slightly higher than yesterday. So you can say some amount of buying interest is coming back into the market at the moment. So we are seeing blue chip counters trading heavily at the moment. Interestingly, we are seeing activity again coming back into the market on the construction sector counters. Foreigners continue to be on the selling side with a net foreign outflow of around 54 million rupees. Turnover levels are slightly higher than yesterday, over $1 billion.
Good news in sports. Artistic gymnast Milka Gehani De Silva has become the second Sri Lankan to qualify for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The 18-year-old is set to compete at the Tokyo Olympics after qualifying through the continental quota. Trained under former national champion turned coach Ranjana Taranga, De Silva has represented Sri Lanka at several international competitions, including the Junior Asian Championships in 2017 and in 2018, the Youth Olympic Games in 2018, and the 49th FIG Artistic Gymnastic World Championships in 2019. She was junior national champion from 2011 to 2014, then finished 6th in the Junior Commonwealth Games in 2016 and went on to become the national champion in the years 2017 and 2018. Also in 2018, she finished within the top 8 at the Asian Championship in Indonesia, becoming the first Sri Lankan to achieve the feat. She also represented Sri Lanka at the Youth Olympic Games in 2018, setting an area record. With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. I'm Shanella Fernando. Have a good night.